Now we will start the porch partition. It will go across between the two doors. I'm going to use 20 thousandths thick, 40 thousandths scribed styrene. Some styrene stripped that is 15 thousandths by 80 thousandths, and some styrene strip that is a scale 2x3. The first step is to create some texture in the surface of the 40 thousandths scribe sheathing to represent wood grain. To accomplish that, I'm going to use 80 thousandths sandpaper, and I'm going to work it back and forth in the direction that the scribe's 15 thousandths by 80 strip and the 2x3. Now I will follow up with some 120 paper and give it a couple of light passes. I'll do the same on the other two pieces. Now that that's finished, we will determine how wide this needs to be. I will make this 4 feet 6 inches wide. So we'll mark 4 feet 6 inches, which will be the scribe. It's a little over, but that's okay. And then we'll do the same here. This one. Now we'll sandwich these two pieces together. That allows us to have some scribes on both sides of the partition. To bond these two pieces of styrene together, I will apply MEK to the center portion of the back side, the side without the scribes. And then I'm going to line up an edge and an end and press the two pieces together. Now I will use some MEK and flow it along the edges of the sandwich such that it flows into the gap between the two styrene sheets. Now that the pieces have dried, I'm going to square up all of the edges. Sandwich such that there's a top and a bottom and a piece going across the front. You just put a couple of touches of MEK on here to tack it, and then I will adjust as needed to get it centered on both sides. Okay, now that this is dried, I'm going to cut the overhang off of all the sides. Get some MEK on this micro brush and put a couple of dots in here to tack it, and then we will adjust our alignment. And when we're happy with the way that looks, I will run a bead of MEK down this edge, and I'll repeat it on the opposite side. And now we'll trim the excess off top and bottom. I'm going to measure 3 feet from the edges. Then we will apply the strip of 2x3. Partition is ready to be installed after I've painted it and weathered it. I'm going to prime both sides with Vallejo Sky Gray. And we'll let that dry now. When I constructed the partition, I did not have the posts in place, and clearly it will not fit at this point. I'm going to remove 2 rows of scribes, and that will provide enough space to fit the partition on the porch. Well, we didn't cause too much damage. It's always good. Okay, it'll go in just fine. Now I'm going to stain this green. This is the porch divider. I found that using the Benz stains is very aggressive on the Vallejo paint base, and especially if you're brushing, it tends to dissolve it and you lose the priming effect. So what I did was I painted this with Vallejo paints and weathered with Vallejo paints, and then once the paint was dry, I dipped it into the Instant Age, let some of the excess run off and blotted it off the ends, and then allowed it to dry, and I think it looks pretty good and it's ready for installation. To glue this in, I'm going to apply a bead of canopy glue to the back of the divider. And then rotate it into the position against the batten, and then rotate it up forward. Then once I have it in place, I'm gripping it from both sides with the tweezers and centering it. This would have been far easier to do if I hadn't had this roof on.